And we are back on the Forder and Walkers podcast. A bit late tonight, half an hour late, actually. But no fault of our own. Unfortunately, we have been problems with Riverside. Reece, mate, I heard you're not feeling very well.
No, COVID, illness. At least it's international break, though. If we actually had games, I don't know if I'd even make it. I'd just be like dead on my feet watching it. But, we're getting there. We're getting slowly better.
Shows out the dedication to the cause, because you've come on here feeling rough as rats, having COVID. I was on, do you remember the live stream when I had to leave and I literally vomited as soon as I left? Oh, God, the things we do to talk about football, eh? Let's go through the agenda tonight. So we are talking Saka, 200 appearances, goal and assist machine, new contracts at the club, Arsenal, favourites for the title, favourites for the Champions League, and top of the table. Let's go. Some weird stories that I've seen this week, two in particular. So I do want to show you them in a minute, mate. And then a little bit about Radcliffe and the Emirates Stadium, because let's be honest, having 3 years of Amorim is an interesting choice, isn't it? Let's be fair. Where should we start? Saka? Should we start with Saka?
Yeah, we'll start with Saka.
Let's go with Saka. All right. So, Bukayo Saka has, there we go, made it to 200 appearances for Arsenal. He's got 100 GA in the Premier League. But should he be starting for England, Reece?
I mean, if you had it my way, it'd be bloody not going at all. But I guess he has to start because he is the best winger. I've arguably been the best England player consistently for the last couple of years. I thought Tuchel's comments are so weird where he was like, he's got to score more. And I was like, do you watch international football? Look at all the big nations. They are, barring Harry Kane in our team, barely any of them have scored goals because Foden's got 4 goals. Palmer's got 2. It's just not common for goals to be distributed like that. When they play so many games, they're in and out of the squad quite a lot. There's not a consistency there. You look at Brazil, their goal scorers. They got Cunha, Rodrigo scored 2 yesterday. But none of these guys have scored a lot. Vini's only scored a couple, every single player. And I was like, it's just such a weird comment to make. And I was like, it just feels like he has to prove Tuchel so much. Even before he came in the England team, everyone's talking about how Tuchel prefers Madueke. And it's like, well, no, Saka's the real guy. Madueke's the backup. Let's get this right. And Saka's the real starter. And it's like, why does he have to keep proving it? He's been England's best player at multiple tournaments now. To me, it's obvious how good he is. And, he still gets disrespect. He still gets disrespected by everyone. Fans, everything. That's why I hate him playing for England, because he just never gets any love. And I'm like, why does he even bother? Why play well? What's the point?
Yeah, it's so frustrating, isn't it? There's always the arguments of a Rashford or a Foden or Palmer and stuff. But like you say, he is the most consistent performer for England. He genuinely is. Unbelievable. His goal for England against Wales was top draw. It was an unbelievable strike. And we've seen him do it so many times. It's not like it's the first time we've seen him do it. He's just got so much to his game. God, at some point, everyone has to cave and just go, okay, he is world class. He really is. He's right up there. And yeah, people will go, well, he's not as good as Salah or Yamal, but I can't really think of many other players up there with him. Maybe an Elise, but I think he's the only other one I can really look at and go, yeah, over on that side, he really challenges him. Unbelievable player. We'll move on from that, though. I don't think we need to go through it too much. And you're feeling rough anyway, mate. So we'll try and do this as quickly as we can tonight. Probably poor form. Nah, I'll be right. So let's go new contracts, because this is a little bit more interesting. So Timber is apparently having a new contract. Arsenal are open talks with Urian Timber about a new contract worth £200,000 a week, rumours. Gunners want to reward him for impressive performances that they've seen him emerge as a vital member of Arteta's side. Is 200 grand too much?
No, he's the second best right back in the world. I guess we just have to pay that sort of money when you're that good. I think in my in my experience, I think it's hard. A lot of Arsenal fans don't really like us giving more money to players, especially when we haven't won. But the defense, we have the best defense in Europe. We have had the best defense
Yep.
in Europe for over 18 months. They do their job. They should be paid as the best defense in Europe, because if not, they will eventually go somewhere else. Maybe not because of the unit, but if one
Mhm.
leaves, then you could definitely see a tumble effect happening of like, well, maybe we should leave at this point. And you have to pay them. You have to pay them market averages. If they're getting paid less than like an Inter Milan defense or even an AC Milan defense, which some of these players are, then it's like they just can't. We can't even like accept that. They have to be on board. Timber's only on a reportedly like 80 to 90k,
Yeah.
like which made sense at the time coming from Ajax, but in the last 18 months, I said last season I thought he was my player of the season. I spoke to my dad earlier. He said that it's his player of the season so far this year. Like he's definitely in the he's definitely in the he's up there for me. So it's like
I
in that
guess the only other person is possibly the other fullback.
yeah, the other fullback, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, so I think they have to be paid that amount. Like, especially him. I think he's been so good, so consistent for such a long time now. Um, I have no issues with this at all. And the thing is, it's not just us bumping up his money. He is actually getting a new deal, so that'd be a
Yep.
nice, juicy 5 years. So he'll stay here forever. So it's all good.
Hey!
So I don't have any issues with that at all. Like I've actually kind of opened up and been a bit more. Like we'll get on to the Raya one, but I feel like my opinion's changed a lot now from what it was like. I guess it depends on the player, but from at the start of the summer, I would say.
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because, like, personally, I am slightly hesitant to give. This is so strange. I'm hesitant at giving a defender a wage like that. And I think it's just because, personally, I look and go, oh, the people on the biggest wages are the people that kind of have those game breaking moments and, you know, make the assist, get the goal, whatever it may be. Even like in midfield, I guess like run a game. He doesn't like run a game. He doesn't like have those big moments. But you could argue that he's probably the reason that, like, is he the biggest reason that our defense is that good? I mean, he definitely makes it far easier for like a Saliba. That's that sounds a bit harsh on Ben White, because Ben White was incredible before Timber came in. But I think Timber has taken it up another notch, and he is truly world class. Like, I agree with you. I think only Hakimi could say that he's better than him in world football right now in that position. So for that reason, he probably is. I was looking earlier as well. He's the only player, and I know we've mentioned previously about who scored in their rankings, and I could definitely argue with it, but he's the only Premier League player in team of the season so far. Like, that's mad to think that everyone else, I mean, most of them in Bayern Munich players. You got Mbappe, you got Nico Paz, you got Vucevic and Odero. But yeah, Timber, the only Premier League player to be getting that kind of regular high scores. He's like, he must be a manager's dream, because he does seem like, personality wise, he's really easygoing. He's a proper winner. He does his utmost for all the players and everyone around him. Like, he just, yeah. I like, for me, not a massive fan of that much money, but if we give it to him, like, fine. The big picture is that we keep him at the club for as long as possible.
Yeah, it is a lot of money. I just think it comes down to market values, and like I've broadly just searched up the highest paid right backs in world football. And like on this list, if it is to be believed, but I guess it's like roughly sort of right, he'd probably be fifth in the world with his new contract. And at the moment, he's not even in the top 20. And
That's nuts.
Trippier is making 40 grand a week more than him. And Benjamin Henrichs from RB Leipzig is as well, if anyone even knows who that is. Obviously, I do. Like some of these players are not good. Ben White is on 150 grand a week, which is reported, which is, I mean, not double, but it's like, what, 60 grand more if we're reported to than Timber. Timber should be
Yeah.
on more than him. Like, I think anywhere between 175, 190. I know it's probably like 200 max, but that's fine. Like, I think that will put him 5th in the world. I think he'll still be on less money than Joshua Kimmich, who's technically a right back, Reece James. I mean, João Cancelo, who obviously plays in Saudi, and then Trent. And I'm like, well, he'll be on the same amount as Hakimi kind of as well. So it's like, yeah, I think that's absolutely fine. I think given the market rates, it's a lot of money though. It is big money, but we've got big wages at least. That
I think if you try to replace him though, like, and I mean, Guna Millsy, you're completely right, mate. Like, easily number 1 right back in the Premier League now. Like, our video went, I mean, not viral by your standards, viral by Forder and football standards, about him versus Reece James. And do you know what was quite funny? Someone was going on about, well, he's been hardly injured over the last season, and lo and behold, he gets another injury. So, jokes on you, whoever that was. But Millsy, you're so right. Like, even Hakimi can't touch him defensively. So if you try to replace him, who on earth do you go and get? Because it's going to cost you tens of millions, what, to replace him? A right back of his quality? I'm guessing what, like 60, 70 mil for a right back? And then you'd have to pay massive wages anyway. So it's a no-brainer, really.
It's more on quality, isn't it, than like money? I don't think any right back would ever really go for 60, 70 mil unless you're like City or United.
I just mean if you were going to go, like, well, even say if you got Reece James or Hakimi, well, it's probably going to cost even more than that to get them. Yeah,
they would be like that. I feel like, I don't know. I don't even know. I haven't scouted any right backs in such a long time, to be honest. I thought we already settled there. So, I mean, I couldn't even tell you who's out there right now as right backs, but I'm sure there's a couple of good youngsters out there. There always is some full backs, but it is funny. Like, I mean, a lot of our team is going to be on a lot of money. They deserve to be though. Like, at least the starters, at least like at least Timber definitely deserves to, because I think about our rotation right now. I think Ben White is probably the furthest away. Like, I watched the Irish
Isn't that
guy.
mad?
It is mad. I watched
crazy?
The Irish guy. If anyone watches on YouTube, he used to be part of HOTC. He does like kind of funny videos where he looks back at his old predictions. But he did a video where it was like the player that's getting phased out of your team, and he spoke about Ben White. And I was like, it kind of does feel like he is getting phased out a little bit. Like, we give him opportunities. He doesn't particularly play well in the opportunities, and he's injured for like 3 months. He comes back, plays once, it's not great. And then it kind of just feels like in over a year now, I've been in the same cycle with him. And since then, Timber has just been unbelievable. And then we've got Mascara now who can cover him right back if needed. So it does just kind of feel like, I didn't realize until like the start of this season, but when I watched that video, I was like, this is the make or break season for Ben White in many ways. Like, let's say Timber gets an injury and Ben White has to play, and then he might regain his form. But at the moment, I genuinely think Ben White might be up for sale in the summer. Like, there has to be a consideration with the wages he's on. He's English, the fee that we could probably still get for him. And if he's just not going to play, if he's not good enough when we need him to be, then I don't know. If I look at anyone to leave, it could be him next. So it's interesting. Big season for Ben White.
John's just said, and welcome back, John. Always in the chat. Love it, mate. Trent. I mean, Trent's definitely up there. Maybe we just take Trent on a free, because he's going to have a pretty poor time at Real Madrid. We just take him on a free. He can have 20 grand a week, and then he can, turn up at Anfield and give him a little wave each year. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? The other one, you mentioned it earlier, so Sammy Mockbell came out as well and said, Arsenal reward David Raya with an improved contract. So this isn't an extension, is it? I think it's literally just like a wage.
Same with Trossard, I think. Same situation.
So pay rise agreement reached earlier this summer. Contract length believed to have stayed the same, according to sources. I think there was a clause in his contract for this, but to be fair, again, like David Raya is, well, for me now, big shout, he's the best keeper in the Premier League because of his availability. I think on his day, Alisson is the best keeper, but he keeps on breaking down now. It's becoming like a regular thing. And I mean, say if you come to the end of the season and it's within 3 points of Arsenal and Liverpool, and Alisson has missed half the season, I think everyone's going to go, well, that's why. So for me, I think, again, he deserves a pay rise that he came across. He's that assimilates himself in this squad really, really well. He knows obviously the keeping staff really well. He understands Mikel, and like his kicking's got better. Like his shot stopping, his cross claiming is unbelievable. He's if only he was like 6'5". That's the only thing he needs. But you know, what are we gonna do? Set him out in stilettos. I don't really know what more we can do for him. But yeah, again, happy with it.
It's funny because we've literally just spoke about my two favorite Arsenal players right now, like Yuri Timber and David Raya. I feel like.
Hang on, I am going to stop you there because there's a guy who's sat in a hospital bed
Yeah,
right
well,
now.
he's sat in a hospital. He's not here. I'm talking about every
Guy's
month.
now going,
Every month it
Reece, what are you
changes.
doing?
Like 18 months ago, it was probably more like 2 years ago now. I Leandro Trossard on my cover screen on my phone because he was my guy. I loved Trossard when he came in, and for a while he was my favorite player. But it changes all the time. But
Yeah.
I was giving props to Yuri and Timber for the last like 3-4 months, and finally it seems like the rest of the world's caught. So many people I've seen from mainstream have spoke about how good he is recently. So I was like, kind of feel like I don't need to speak about Timber anymore. Everyone knows how good he is. My next one is David Raya, because David Raya is insanely disrespected just between, not even just outside of Arsenal fans. Arsenal fans disrespect him all the time on Twitter. I know Twitter's not necessarily like, you know, be all and end all of Arsenal fans, but it just seems like on Twitter every single time we can see the goal, it's Raya's fault. Every single time I see, we win the other day, and I've seen people commenting on Twitter and putting it on that stupid like Fred's page on Twitter and being like, oh yeah, but we should get this keeper in. This guy's better than Raya. I can fundamentally tell you they're not better. Raya is, other than Alisson, at least the most consistent goalkeeper in the world, and he has been for since that Luton game, which happened a long, long time ago. He is unbelievable at the moment. He isn't perfect. He makes mistakes. His passing is a little bit naff. His passing, especially centrally, is a bit naff. Like, I think out wide it's okay, but I think in central areas he isn't the best. Like, he is going to mess up. We saw it towards the end of last season. He messed up quite a lot. But I don't really care because he takes them risks on the ball, which is what we ask from him. He is the best goalkeeper in the world at catching crosses and just catching the ball genuinely. He catches all the time. It'll be a shot, he'll catch it. I watch other goalkeepers, and if they don't catch something, I'm pissed off. But then I realise that's just a Raya thing or a João Garcia thing. That's not like a normal thing that most keepers do. You know, they just parry it out all the time. And he does that all the time. His shot stopping was one of the weaker parts I thought of his game when he was at Brentford. It's improved so much. He is one of the best shot stoppers in the world and has consistently been for a year. I mean, and against Olympiacos, that save he does in the first half is fantastic. Like, and that keeps us in the game.
Save.
The save against Leeds in the first half when it's 0-0 from the corner. Like, these saves that people don't talk about because we win the game comfortably, but they're so important. He is, mentality-wise, when you see him in interviews as well, he's a leader. And I remember a couple of months ago, we had the conversation. We all said, who do you think would be a manager? And we said like Jorginho, obviously, and them sort of guys. And I was like, I feel like Raya could be as well. I feel a little bit vindicated because I think someone said it in an interview. I don't know if it was Eze or Rice or someone said that they think Raya could be a good manager. So, but I just look at him and I just think like, I love his mentality. Like, I really align with his mentality, with how he sees things and how he tries to get better with himself. Like, I see the same with me, and I really respect that. And like, you know, there's a lot of stuff happened with him. He got a lot of criticism when he came in, which was unfair on him. Maybe like you can argue like, what is Arteta doing with the manager, the goalies, whatever, fine. But he got a lot of stuff. It wasn't his fault. He was always good, other than like a few shaky games at the start. That Luton game was bad. He was bad in that game. But he's just been fantastic. And I don't mind giving him a pay increase again, because I think he deserves to be paid as one of the best keepers in the world. He showed loyalty to us. You know, he's got a kid on the way as well, so give him some money to help him with his new kid. That's great.
Oh, yeah, because I'm sure he's real short at the moment.
You know, it's always nice
compared to me with my 3 children.
Like...
He's like, border. I don't know what to do. How do you get by?
I'm so happy that I think like Raya has to. I think when he came to the club and now, like, the development has been there, like, proper. And he's like, 30, 31. He's like, I mean, that's
Yeah.
not old for a goalie, but he's like in the older ages of players that we have. He ain't going to be here, I don't think, for 5 years' time. Like, I think you wait at 36, I can't really see him being our keeper. He is only 6 foot, which is a major deficit. Where I see people at Man United fans go on about Onana not being able to dive to corners because he's too short, and he's like 6'3", and it's like, it just doesn't matter. If you've got a good enough leap, if your agility is good enough, you're fine. Like, yes, there is some issues that maybe he's not tall, but it really doesn't become a problem. We've seen 3 goals and none of them are his fault. Like, and like, I don't know. Like, I think David Raya has become a real star at this team, like a real underrated star that I don't think people really give
100%.
credit to. And yeah, give as much as he wants. Deserves it. I don't even care at this point.
I mean, he is one of the reasons that we are top of the league, let's be honest. And I thought these were really nice from Opta analysts. So on the left, we've got points after 7 match days compared to last season. So looking like we're kind of there or thereabouts, surprise, because, the last 3 seasons now we've been second. But I really liked the over and underperforming teams. So if anyone hasn't seen this one, I'm referring to this one on the right here. So essentially it's showing like Arsenal at this time. Okay, so we were second, so this was before the West Ham game. We should have been first. You look down the table, down here, there's little old Liverpool completely overperforming. I mean, we know that the late wins, the amount of chances they're giving up, bar against us. But like, we thoroughly deserve to be first. Like, we have been unbelievable at the moment. And there's still kinks to be worked out. Like, we've both talked about how all the players interact with each other, how we get, certain diamonds and triangles working, how we get that left-hand side working properly, bring Gyökeres in more, get in more shots. There's definitely areas still to improve. But on the whole, like, as an overall team, we are the best team in the Premier League right now. Like, we just are. And look, and I say, I just wish we had everyone fit. Because this is without, bear in mind, like a Havertz. We've had Saka out. Madweki's now out. Who else in the front line?
Odegaard.
Yeah, Odegaard. And then you're looking at Ben White, missed a little bit. We've had Norgard out.
Sleeper, Nkapie. It's crazy.
It's nuts to start looking and going, that's a lot of, like, not even like squad fitters. That's top draw players, like right through your spine, and those players that we've depended on so much over the years. Like, if we had the start we've had now, in terms of the injuries to those players last year, we wouldn't have been able to cope. We could not have coped with Odegaard going down 3 times, with Saka missing those games, with Saliba missing those games. But just those 3 individuals themselves. Then you look at Havertz. We'd be going, right, it's Marino up top again. Although, to be fair, there might be an improvement. Sorry, I had to do it, mate.
Crazy. That's a crazy hot take.
I do the Wackles bingo. I need to start doing it on myself when I say that about Marino and Havertz, just to wind you up. But it is incredible how this squad has developed, not just in number, but in quality. And I think they're just so well drilled now. Everyone knows exactly where they're meant to be, how they're meant to move the ball, how we move up the pitch. And even on our worst day, we are such a good team because the organization is there and the quality is there. So, yeah, I'm not surprised right now. This one is really interesting, though, because this goes down to, favorites. Have you seen this one?
I don't know which one I'm looking at.
So essentially, this is the percentage-wise of like position finishes at the end of the year.
Oh, I can't see that right now, but yeah.
Oh, can you not see it? Oh, sorry, mate. So essentially, it's showing Arsenal at 43.5% for first place, 25% for second place, and obviously it progressively gets smaller. We have a 0% chance, according to Opta, of finishing 15th or lower. That's quite nice. We've got a 0% chance. You right?
I hate the Opta stuff. It really pisses me off. I can't lie. It's just this whole thing annoying. I do know it's when you're looking at. I can't see it, but I did see it because I sort of looked at it and went, "Well, it was like Leeds can't finish above like 8th or whatever." And I was like, "I might as well give up." There, what's the point? I just hate the like Opta stats things because I think it's a cool little nitbit for us to look at and talk about. Like, it is cool, but I hate it when like the BBC use it as like a report and be like, "Oh yeah,
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Arsenal favourites to win the league because our AI computer has told us." When like it's just based on like probability, but like that's not how it works. Like,
I mean, I'm not using it as gospel, just I'm not saying like, right, everyone, we're gonna win the league. But
I wanted to say that in the last frame when we had like the points tally from last year and this year, it made me laugh how Wolves had 1 point last year and now they've got 2 points. That made me laugh so much.
Improvement.
I was like, bless them. But yeah, like, I mean, I don't even know what these percentages are halfly based on, but I mean, we've got like 1% chance of finishing 5th. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
I mean,
it's good. It's good so far. Like, we have been great. Like, since City, especially the second half of City, broadly, like, I mean, I'm not really counting Port Vale because I just don't think we tried in that game. But we have been really, really, really good. Like, people, before the Newcastle game, it's easy to forget, but I remember people being like, Arteta can't coach over 1xG from open play. And he's done it 3 games in a row, easily. We've created nearly a 2 in 2 of them as well. And we've barely even used set pieces at all. West Ham, awful at set pieces. We just weren't that great against them. I mean, I think Nuno did a lot better. We did score a pen, to be fair, but like we're just so much better from everywhere now. Like the problem is just efficiency in front of goal, clinicalness is the big issue. We're creating enough chances now, but can we finish them? Like Olympiacos got a bit techie because we just didn't finish chances. We had so many chances that we didn't finish in that game. I was gobsmacked when Martinelli missed that. I know it was like 5 minutes in when he missed that header. I was like, how has he even missed that? Like,
he's usually pretty good at heading as well.
And we said that, didn't we? We spoke about his heading, about why doesn't they cross it into him anymore? Well, I think we know why. Apparently, he's lost that ability.
He's lost that ability,
but like,
and the ability to dribble while looking up.
We said it at the start of the season. We said that, like, I mean, we bought 8 players and we barely sold anyone. You look at our squad, like, who is the weakest player in our squad? Probably like Norgard, Premier League captain, Brentford, like 100, 200 games in the Premier League, and that's like our weakest. Maybe
that's
50.
Such a good way of putting it.
Yeah, and it's like we're
not
even putting Waneri on the bench. He didn't make the bench against Newcastle. We're not even getting these players on the bench sometimes. Like Hincapie's played 3 minutes for us, and we spent 50 mil on him. He's a left back, not played at all.
Yeah.
But he's just not had to, and that is our depth. And we said this at the start of the season. Like, we went into it and went, like, look at Liverpool. Liverpool, I know a lot of people are very upset about Isak going there, and I was as well. But when they actually signed Isak, by that time, I wasn't that worried because I knew they had so many other issues that in a day's time they couldn't sort out, and they didn't even get Gueye, which was a big thing. And obviously, their centre backs, they've got Gomez, Kanate, Van Dijk, and Leone. Leone tore his ACL in his first game. They pushed Gravenberch back into centre back against Chelsea and didn't bring Joe Gomez on. The video of him just sitting there on the bench is hilarious. He's like, they just moved Gravenberch back, who was widely at fault for their goal they conceded in the last minute. They're playing Szoboszlai at right back, who is a great player. I think Szoboszlai is the real like workhorse in their team, a bit like Rice in our team. But like, playing him at right back is just not the best way of using his ability, like, at all. And like, I look at these problems and I'm not surprised. Like, we knew this was going to probably happen. Like, we know the intensity of the Prem. We knew that unless, like, you know, luck just keeps going to Liverpool, which it looked like it was going to with the first 5 games that you just showed to that stat, with them being supposedly should have been 7th and they were 1st. And eventually it was going to happen. I remember I sat on this podcast 2 weeks ago before we played Newcastle, and I said, like, one of the last things I said before it ended, I said, like, we've got a hope, but Liverpool will lose games. I said Liverpool aren't going to just keep winning forever. And since I said that, I lost 3 in a row. So pretty good to win all right. I don't know. I got lucky there, I guess.
Mate, you need to buy a lottery ticket. You've come out with so many good predictions recently.
I guess I watch too much football. That's all I'd say. But and I feel like that whole thing has just shifted. Not only have Liverpool lost 3 games in a row and been widely quite poor in them as well. Like the Palace game, maybe even. I think they actually created a lot. Chelsea game, I didn't think they played well. Second half they were all right, but
No.
first half they were off it. And I watched the game and I was just like, I was in the pub and Chelsea scored the last
And
minute.
Chelsea weren't even at full strength either.
No, yeah. I mean, they brought in I mean, Garnacho actually had a good game. I actually thought Garnacho played well, when he came, and they brought Jamie Gittins on. I was like, my god, but yeah, it worked. And Galatasaray, they were awful in that game. They were just not good. And I feel like Liverpool will actually get better in terms of their team clicking, and seems to be the issue to the clicking. But we spoke about our issues being we haven't clicked, and even now, I think the team, I think there's 3 players that have changed our team. I think Gyökeres has less than the others, but I think Eze and Zubamendi, just how we attack is just fundamentally different, and it's given us so much more life. It's not only the fact that we're winning games, but it's just how we're playing is so much more enjoyable since they've all started to learn each other. Odegaard's been out of the team. He's come back and he was excellent in the two cameos in the Olympiacos game where he was outstanding. Obviously, unfortunately, got injured again. But I'm annoyed that he got injured. But I'm like, well, now he trusts Eze to play that role. I said to you, I don't think he ever play that role for him. He played it because he had to against City, and typical Arteta.
Do you know what's funny? I actually called it, didn't I? I said I can't quite work out what Arteta is going to do each week, which is great. It's really good news for us. I said, I do wonder if he's going to play almost like 2 10s and play Eze and Odegaard. And lo and behold, he plays both of them. I mean, it didn't go for very long, unfortunately, because I would have liked to have seen a little bit more legs in it. But obviously, and I even said, oh, what's the bet? Odegaard goes and gets injured again. And we laughed and said, oh, he's already been injured twice. And again, he goes and gets injured. We've been on a roll, mate. We've been on a roll at the moment.
The fun thing is going into this season, my biggest thing about Arteta was, can he sort out this physical mid-block problem? Can he sort out the West Hams, the Newcastles? I know it's early days, but so far in the last 2 games, we have fundamentally just sorted that problem out. We've created lots of chances. We've gotten great positions. There's still some clinical issues there, which hopefully we can sort out, but that's not really on Arteta, to be honest. And we've got Fulham away as our next game. I'd be worried. That is a game that is awful for us. But Fulham are got to be one of the worst squads in the Prem, but they're just a good team. I don't know how it is. But we're going there, and I'm confident because I just look at the players that we have now, and I look at the ways that we're dictating and finding gaps, and I think everyone's starting to play better. Saka the last couple of weeks has been exceptional. Eze is starting to really get into flow. Trossard has been really, really good in the last couple of games, which I can't believe. Nah, I don't want to be harsh. I think Trossard's been good. Zubamendi has really, really stepped up, I think, in the last 3 or 4 games now that I've seen. I'm seen the different level to him where I'm that's insane. And Rice is just like we said, he was slow, played that Newcastle game. Newcastle, he's been so much better. He was great against West Ham. That was his best performance against West Ham. At the end, we spoke about how he's bad there. And
breaks that duck.
Well, we spoke about maybe they dropped Rice for that game because of that reason, but they dropped Zubamendi. But that's just the freedom we have. Unfortunately, it didn't last very long. But at least we had that freedom. I'm hoping Ethan plays a bit now. He's tried the 2 8/10s with Odegaard and Eze. I feel like he might not try that yet with Ethan and Eze. I know he tried it against Port Vale, but he might not try it against Prem. But I think that's the idea in the future. If Odegaard's injured, when Eri comes in, and it's just fun. It's so fun to see this. We still got so much we don't know. Norgard in the Prem, we haven't really seen it. Hincapié, we haven't really seen it. Madueke maybe working with Saka.
I cannot wait. I want to see, one of the things I want to see this season is a back 4 of Saliba and Gabriel together, Mosquera out on the right, and Hincapié out on the left. At some point, I just want to see that back 4, and it's got an aggressive back 4 and a back 4 that will, in terms of ball playing from deep, getting really, really interesting. But there's another option we've got. Just looking at the stats, right? Least goals conceded, least shots on target against, most touches in opposition box, second most goals scored, and second most XG accumulated. We deserve to be where we are currently. And I just hope that, I mean, looking at the fixtures, we've got Fulham next and we've got Atletico Madrid. So they're going to be, I think I said to Yembele that they are the litmus test for us, along with like the West Ham game and the Newcastle game. And then Crystal Palace is going to be a very difficult game, but in a different way. They're very good in the ball. I think they've done an excellent job with, especially you look at the players they've lost, like in like Elise and an Eze, and they're an unbelievably well-run club. And then we've got Brighton after in the Carabao Cup. But I think we could win all those games like now. Yeah, and if you asked me over the last couple of years, I would have gone, we can, but, and then I would have had some kind of caveat. I think we'll win all of them as long as we play at our top, at our maximum. The one that is standing out to me now that I'm looking at it, do you remember we talked about Atletico and Madrid and you were saying how poor they've been? And now they're definitely looking a little bit better. And that's my only worry in those next 4 games. But
yeah, they're a weird. They've actually broadly played quite well this season, but they drew like the first 4 out of their 6 league games, and it's purely just because they can't finish. They just like it's literally called their system is Alvarez or bust. Well, their system is great, but then when they get into the final third, it's Alvarez or bust. Everyone else is useless. Like Sorloth can use his head because he's like tall. Griezmann can run a little bit. He's like in his mid-30s now. It's not really, but he pops up a little bit. Bless him. You've got Llorente scoring some bangers occasionally against Liverpool. He loves them. But like Alvarez, man, like that guy is scary. He's actually probably one of the scariest players you would have played because like Salah's good, and I know Salah's really, really good. One of the best players in the world, but like I don't know. This season he's not been that good anyway, let alone that. But I guess it's because we've played against him loads. I just don't care anymore. I don't get scared. Like I'm not like worried about Salah. Like if he does stuff, he does stuff. But broadly, if we have a good fullback, he doesn't do anything. He's only really cooked us against like Tavares, Zinchenko. Like they're the people that he kind of cooks us with. So I'm not really worried. I think Alvarez will be the best player I've played this season. Like individually, like performances this season. I mean, maybe Haaland now. I think Haaland's like kicked up a notch. Like he was always good this season, but it's between them two. It's crazy because that's literally Man City's like strike partnership last year.
I can't believe they let him go. Like
they did get an insane money for a backup striker.
Yeah, they did. But
imagine we got like 70 mil for Havertz.
Oh yeah, I'll take that. You know what? Before we move on to the next section, which is the can't be true section, I do want to come back to Dylan's comment from earlier on. So Dylan put thoughts on Semenyo to Arsenal. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this now is because we previously said like Alvarez would be on the dream list of signings. Like I cannot see us getting him. Just as a caveat, cannot see us getting him. Don't see the room in the squad for him, nor the financial like kind of power to do that either. But who's like right now top of your list like of players? Like is Semenyo on that list? Is Yildiz on that list? Alvarez? Like anyone else that sticks out to you? Putting you on the spot here.
I don't really know. Like I guess I would probably put Yildiz quite high if I was doing it right now. Like it kind of depends what they want because there has been reports about like getting a younger winger in. I know they've been speaking about that boy Bioya from Frankfurt, who I have actually watched quite a lot.
Yep.
I watched him quite a lot. Personally, like
how have you watched him?
Oh yeah, because the Bundesliga. And he's like all right. Like I don't think he's the shining light of that team. There's a guy called Chan Uzan who is unbelievable. Unbelievable. That kid is incredible. He's been good for years, but now he's like it just seems like Frankfurt, like all their talents they bought last year, they'd already played last year, their backup options because they got Ekatike, Marmouche, and they all go and then they got these guys ready. It's like
yep.
Where have these guys come from? He's incredible. Chan Uzan's the next 100 mil player, 100% from Frankfurt. But he's more of like an attacking midfielder, and I think we've got enough of them, to be honest.
Do
Like,
we need to kind of like? I mean, we're getting so off topic. We didn't even plan this section, but like, I look at a Wharton, a Baleba. I mean, these are like dream signings. Like, and the funny thing is, we don't even need them. We don't need like. But I look and I think next year, if I was a betting man, which players would we be losing? So it would be Trossard and Martinelli, just looking at their contracts and, you know, the makeup of the squad. Norgard, Ben White would probably be in there. Then apart from them, I don't know. And I know you're going to come for me at this. I genuinely mean this.
Here we go.
I wonder, with Gyökeres' season, if Kai Havertz could be on that list. Simply because the injuries that he's sustained over the last couple of seasons, the fact that he's very well regarded with managers all over the continent now. You know, there are rumors that Bayern wanted him, that Real Madrid wanted him before we got him. Like, I could see a deal being done there if the club have someone kind of ready in line. Kind of like Liverpool have done with Ekitike, going, right, we know we've got this young lad who's going to come through and he's going to be the next one. I think that signing is such a cracking signing because he's very similar in the mold to Isak. If they can use Isak now, get the team working around that structure,
But
you then bring in Ekitike later on down the line. But yeah, like is there anyone else that you can think of like in midfield? Like, is it an Agume or I don't know, someone like that in midfield? That
the
you'd want?
problem is, it all depends on a lot of things. Like, you talk about Ekitike and Isak. I think that's quite poor squad planning because they're only 3 years apart, which is not. That's not
I
that.
think doing it at the same time doesn't make sense. I think if they did it like next year and got Ekitike, that would have made sense. It almost felt
Yeah,
like
I just think Isak's not.
they just did it to stop Newcastle from getting a suitable replacement in the same mold.
The problem is,
So,
Isak just turned 26, like a couple of weeks ago. That is not that old. Like, I feel like that
he's
is
older. Maybe it's just because he's been around and always injured.
Yeah, he has been around a lot. But like Ekitike is literally only like 3 years younger, and I feel like that is not a big enough gap to like warrant spending the amount that they did. I get why they did it. I think
I know what you mean.
I don't think the club, Liverpool, actually thought Isak was available, and they bought Ekitike to kind of checkmate Newcastle, and then Newcastle didn't have an option and got whittled into selling him. So I do think they kind of chess gamed them a little bit, but I don't think when they bought Ekitike, they probably thought, oh, we'll get Isak as well. I think when it came up, they were like, oh yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah,
But
true.
I think the problem with this whole thing is that the striker market is awful. There's a reason why every striker that scored 5 goals last season is going for money. Like, you look at Bonnie, who scored 6 goals for Parma last year. I love him. I think he's a great player. 28, 30 mil to Inter. Great backup striker. He's been playing recently because Thingy being injured. But I look at every striker pretty much moved in the summer. Osimhen, Šeško, Walter Marder, his highest goal scoring record before last season was about 4 goals. He scored 15 in the league last year. It's his first big. He's 23, so he's not like really, really young either. So it's just, I just don't know. Like, there could always be a world this summer where someone scores like 15, 20 goals, and you're like, oh yes, get them in. But the only player that makes sense to get rid of Kai Havertz for is De Calcaterre, because he's the player that plays the similest to him in the entire Europe. And like,
you mentioned him a few times actually on the pod.
It's because he's like literally a spitting image of him. He's like 6'4". He walks like him and he plays exactly like him. But he's probably a little bit better in terms of like output. I think he's much better within like picking out players in front of goal. He's 24. So how old is Havertz? I feel like with Havertz's age, it just becomes a problem. See, Havertz is 26, so we're getting to the same problems there. Like, I think given Havertz's age, he's 27 in June, which is quite a while away. I just don't think there's any.
What's Gyökeres, 27?
Yeah, Gyökeres is 26. Gyökeres will be 28 next summer, so he's a year older. And I do think there's a certain level of Arsenal need to get a younger striker in. They're both in their prime, but I just don't know. The striker market is awful. Every striker that scores 5 goals in a top European league is 50 mil, and I don't think Arsenal, unless they get an insane bid for Havertz, which could happen. I feel like if a Bayern won't sign Nicholas Jackson, they've made that clear. Harry Kane's in his 30s. I think Havertz at Bayern would be perfect. He's German. I think it makes sense. I think he'd work really well for their team. I think he'd get the best out of their wingers, which are their main goal scorers. I know Kane is at the moment, but it's always been their wingers before that. So I think it could work. I think he could work at Real Madrid as well if they get rid of Vinny, which is reported. He might go to Saudi. I don't know what's going on with Rodrigo. Mbappe's obviously there, but I think Mbappe works better off someone else anyway.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So I think there's options. I think these two teams are concrete options that probably would pay. Like I could see how Bayern Munich paying 70 mil if they get desperate for a Havertz. Like if they have the money. I don't know what their financial situation is. But I just don't know if selling Havertz for 70 mil is worth it to Arsenal, especially with the fact Gyökeres hasn't hit the ground running, hasn't really done a lot of different work than what I would see Havertz do, I would say overall. Obviously, this is very like now when you have to see in like 6 months' time.
Yeah. This is all hypothetical.
But I just don't. I obviously it's very early in the season. I've barely done much scouting in terms of players other than like the Bundesliga and the Liga, and a little bit of Serie A. But there just isn't really many strikers that I'm looking at right now that are like flashing out to me that I'm like, oh yeah, they're really good. And it probably will come in a couple of weeks' time. It's like, oh yeah, this guy's quite good. This guy's quite good. But for us, when we're like trying to win the league, trying to win the Champions League, I'm like, I don't think anyone's just gonna prop up like that. Like last year, a great example. I loved Retegui. Like Atalanta's the top goal scorer in the Serie A. He's an incredibly great guy in the air. All his goals in the air are unbelievable. That guy, he wasn't tall, but he's just so good. But they wanted like 70 mil, and then he went to Saudi for 70 mil. I was like, I don't know. I get he's the top goal scorer in the Serie A, but like not for me. And it's like, it's just a hard market. That's why I think the only given is that Arsenal will try and buy a left winger. So I think saying like, oh, who's your number one target? If it's like Semenyo or Yildiz, makes a lot more sense. I want to say it's a bit on Semenyo because I've been thinking about Semenyo quite a lot recently. And he makes sense for Arsenal, but I'm worried that he will be 26 in January. I'm worried if we spend another 70 mil on a player like that, we will then have he be 26. Then you've got like Havertz who's 26, Gyökeres 27, Eze 27, and we spent like so much. I mean, not really.
I haven't really thought about that. Yeah, that's so true.
That's a lot of money for players that are in their prime, if you know what I mean.
For me, I know he's overperforming as well in terms of like his XG, but I just love the way he plays. Like in terms of like transitional threat, unbelievable. Like both footed, he's so aggressive. You've got the whole thing of him being an Arsenal supporter as well. I think there's so many plus sides to get him. Like he is my perfect left winger for those reasons. But yeah, I hadn't even considered the effect it will have like long term and like financially as well, I guess. But I don't really know who else. Like Yildiz is obviously someone that's name's been banded around. He's an interesting one. But yeah, I think
maybe if you got both, like if you got maybe not Yildiz, but like that guy from Frankfurt that we were talking about, as like a younger option, and then you got in a Semenyo, it's not as bad. Like get rid of Trossard and Martinelli, and then I think that actually works out a little bit in the ages because then you've actually got less than Trossard by 3 years with a Semenyo or 4 years, and then you've got a less than Martinelli by 4 years.
If the prospect doesn't start to develop in the way that you expect them, then you can bring someone in.
And we can always just play Eze on the left if like worst comes to worst, so he's still gonna be here. Like we've still got options. So that's what I'd like the club to do, and I kind of feel like the club might do that. It depends like what happens. Like Martinelli might just be mental this season and score 15 goals, but I mean, with Semenyo, obviously, like this is where we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago about the intricacies of like signings. Like Tottenham wants Semenyo really badly. We might do a thing with Eze where we're like, well, do we want Semenyo going to Tottenham or do we want Semenyo going to a Liverpool? Like, do we want him going to a rival? Not maybe competitive with Tottenham, but competitive with Liverpool. Like, is he going to strengthen Liverpool too much now that we can't compete with that? And you do think about that because it's like, well, Yildiz would be great, but is Yildiz going to be great now as good as Semenyo? Probably not. So it depends like where you take that into it. And it's like the same with the Eze situation. We've gone on about how he's an Arsenal fan. I do think if we're in the Champions League next year, we're competing for the league. If we went up to Semenyo and went, do you want to join the club? I think he'd choose us over anyone else. But it's about taking that in that situation.
Yeah, and I mean, he did sign a new contract, so he's got a 5-year contract up till 2030 now, which is a bit of a stumbling block. But
Oh,
again,
he has there's a. I'm pretty sure I've heard there's a clause in it, or not a clause, but there's a. He
please don't
signed
say
that.
a gentleman's agreement.
Well, it's not like I think it's like it's more of a formal agreement because it's in the actual contract. It's not.
Oh, okay.
But like he signed a deal last year because they kind of confirmed that he was going to move this next summer. I don't know if apparently it's for 60 to 70 million euros. I don't know if that's true, but David Ornstein's also alluded to this like 3 times in his podcast where he keeps talking about how people sign new deals for next summer, they get the move. And he's mentioned it like after mentioned Semenyo like 2 or 3 times now on podcast. So I do think and it makes sense if I think about it like that, because why would he stay at Bournemouth forever? Like he's 26. Like, I mean, if anyone watched that,
so true. Like,
if I watched that Fulham game,
he
did you watch
the club?
The Fulham game highlights are insane, man. When he was like came on and just scored, and that's why like I'm obviously part of another company, and they wrote a newsletter about Semenyo kind of overperforming as well. And I kind of like I read it, I was like, yeah, it's fair, he is overperforming a lot. I was like, yeah, it's crazy, he's scoring all the time. But I was like reading it, and I was like, sometimes when you look at stats, I feel like you miss what you like see. I was like, that goal he scores against Fulham, where he's on the edge, he goes past 2 players, tucks it into the side, like inside under Leno's legs. That is obviously like unlikely probably to happen, but he has the quality to make that happen, and I'm watching him do it. And that's what I care more about than like some stats that will be like.
I agree with you.
That would be
why
like, oh, unlikely to happen again. I'm like, Messi, I bet his XG in his career is like, I bet he scored like 400 more goals than he should have, because he's just insane. It doesn't matter sometimes to players that are that good.
Like, Heung-min Son is like prime example, isn't he? He's always outperformed. Yeah.
I'm a bit of a downer on XG. I've kind of gone off it quite a lot, to be honest.
No, I know what you mean. Do you know what? On the Cannon Pod the other day, they said, "Oh, what's the one stat that is like kind of overused or overrated?" And I put that. But I quite like it over the course of a season. I don't mind it, but game to game or like over, like 7 games for one player. It's a bit.
It's also like even over like the space of like 10 games, like United are like really high for the expected goals at the moment, and it's because they
then
just
you
shoot
watch them and you go,
yeah, because they shoot from everywhere. They've 40 shots a game, and half of them are from 30 yards out, and every one like goes up to 0.02 each. And it's like, that's just a stupid way of using the stat. Like, it's just a dumb way of doing it. Like, oh, we can all do that. That doesn't take heart. I bet any any team in the Prem could string it together 3 passes and shoot from 40 yards out. I think any of them could do it, even Burnley.
Right, let's go on something a little bit more fun now. Oh, hang on. John's just put, I think he could do job down the middle too. Him and Saka, Madueke could be insane. Front 3, all swapping positions. I mean, yeah, fair play. That would be interesting. And we said so many times, haven't we, about...
The flipping has been happening, hasn't it?
Yeah. Like, there's something we've been crying out for like, well, since we started the pod. We've been going on about that.
By the way, Trossard played up front today for Belgium.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and they drew 0-0, and they might not qualify for the World Cup. But
you say you're blaming that on Trossard?
Don't look at any of that details, but he did play up front for Belgium, which is really, really weird, I felt like. But
so, this, mate, I don't know if you saw this. This had me in stitches, this story. Now, I've put the title here, can't be true, because I do think someone's on a wind-up, but I just had to include this because it was just hilarious. So apparently, Newcastle midfielder, ex-Arsenal player, Joe Willock, had to be rescued from York Maze after a distress call to emergency service was made around 5 p.m. on October the 8th, so 2 days ago. He had been lost in the UK's largest maze for about 6 hours. Like, surely this can't be true. That Joe Willock is just going round and round a maze for 6 hours. Like, that can't be true, can it?
Surely not, right? Also,
I really hope it is.
Also, I
not for Joe Willock's like mental health or anything. Like, God forbid, like, he has a breakdown on a maze. But I just think that would be amazing if they have to get rescue services to jump.
Amazing.
He misses training, gets a fine from Newcastle. Like, I'm sorry, boss. Like honestly, Eddie, I've been stuck in this maze for 6 hours. Does he
know? Wait, but does he know what month it is? Has anyone done a maze in October? There is
That's
nothing.
so true. Yeah,
I literally did. I mean,
I'm 99% sure this story is on the wind up.
It's funny though to pretend it's not. That's just.
But yeah, like my other question is, who makes this up? Like, of all things, who goes? It'd be really funny. Like, obviously, Francis Chip is the guy who's made this up. But I mean, what goes through your head to go? You know what? I read 46,000 likes, 4.3 million.
Yeah, that's
people have seen this.
It's intelligent. This is that you've got a rage bait and clip farm. This is the strat.
Mate, we should start doing that. We should have a segment each week. We just start making these weird stories up about players.
We should just pretend like this is real and that we have like a serious convo about him being lost in the
serious
maze.
concern.
I actually did a maze once in October with my mum, and we went there, and it was a grass maze, and it was in autumn, so there was no leaves on any of the thing, so you could just see the end from the start, and I was not happy. That's why I'm like, imagine it just lost. It's just like no grass or something.
I mean, yeah, I don't remember the last time I went in a big maze like that. But no, anyway, we'll move on from that one. But I just felt like I had to include that. The other one is that yeah, John's made a really good point. Why use Joe Willock if you're making it up? Like,
just such a random player
in the Premier League.
It?
It's such a random one. It's so good. Anyway, the other one is Cole Palmer. So apparently, Cole Palmer is granted trademark for Cold Palmer, hence the TM on the little picture here, as he cashes in on his iconic celebrations. So apparently, he is trying to get. So it says here, last year, Palmer made a move to trademark both his ice cold celebration and the name Cold Palmer in the hope of using them to sell a number of different products. These include clothes, food, toys, toiletries, razor blades, diet drinks, alcohol, and then underwater vehicles and drones.
Might as well put crypto on there as well. That seems like the next one.
Like, get your Cold Palmer coins. Like, I can kind of understand some of them, like the toiletry kind of one. I can kind of understand, Christmas Chelsea fans, like young teenage boys, like you go Cold Palmer deodorant or maybe some toys or something. But like some of them just baffle me. I get, to be fair, the alcohol one and diet drinks, like crack open a cold one, that kind of thing. I don't know.
Get you on the marketing team. That's what we need.
Yeah, exactly. Just isn't it mad? Like we had Jens Lehmann. Do you remember he tried to trademark the term invincibles, and no one else could say that. Like you can't use that term now in terms of marketing and stuff. I think he asked all the other Arsenal players if they were happy with him to do that because he was worried that they'd start losing out on money. So it was because if he trademarked it and then he could kind of split all the money between the squad, which is actually quite nice. But again, I just feel it's odd. It's, to me, it's so strange going, oh, Cold Palmer. No one else can use that. Like, I don't know.
I guess it's just for a brand identity, but I don't get the whole celebration thing because, like, Rodgers does it. So, like, what does that mean? I guess you can trademark and pattern dance moves because it's like the whole Fortnite thing, isn't it? Because like, you can't if you have a dance move and it goes viral, Fortnite can't just nab it off you, or they can if you don't trademark it. And then you have to go through these legal things and stuff now. But I guess it makes sense when I think about it like that.
I mean, it does say he's finally been granted the Cold Palmer trademark after a battle with a French vineyard, apparently. But he made a move to trademark both the name Cold Palmer and his ice cold celebration. Does that mean like the other players can't do it then? Like, what happens then?
I guess if you do the celebration though, it's not really like commercial. I think it's probably just like they can't sell merch with that celebration.
Or like in an advert, you can't do it in an advert.
Or
Being
like on
oh.
FIFA, like maybe FIFA have to pay him to put the ad to put that celebration in. Maybe something like that.
Do you know what? That's an easy win for certain players, isn't it?
Yeah.
That could open like the floodgates of players going, man, I'm going to just trademark my celebration. So if you want it in the game, you're going to have to pay me.
They just do anything.
Pay for likenesses and
the most like basic things ever, and they're like, yeah, we'll trademark that. I'm trademarking the knee slide.
yeah, the knee slide. I mean, I see Ravanelli with the shirt over the head. He could have made millions. Definitely. Yes, Nick, Cornish Wi-Fi strikes again. Yeah, it's pretty terrible at the moment. I do apologize. I will be moving in the next, I mean, this keeps on getting delayed, my move, but I will be moving the next kind of 6 months. So hopefully by that point, get better Wi-Fi. So I do apologize, everyone. Let's kind of go on to the next section. So we're keeping it on the kind of light theme here, you know, things that make us laugh. So this one, 3 more years. Amorim, love it. So Jim Ratcliffe confirms he intends to give 3 years to Ruben Amorim. Yes, 3 years because things don't happen overnight, he said to the business podcast. I've got his win percentage up here. So the last 10 managers to reach 50 competitive games, he's got a win rate of 38%. Like he's lost as many as he's won. Just surely, like I know you're very level-headed. I mean, to be fair, do you know what? Someone had said, "Oh my god, I've seen Wackles kind of losing his head a bit," and I said that's my favorite part of this pod. On the whole, though, you're pretty level-headed. Surely this is madness, though, isn't it? You can't keep persevering, just keep going. Like it's definitely not working. No, keep going. Just keep going for another couple of years. Surely it's bad.
I dead ass think I could do better. I genuinely think if you put me in that team, I would have won more games. I know maybe that's egotistical, but like I dead ass think that in my heart.
Can we go in? Can we go in as like manager and assistant and just, you know, give us 50 games. Give us 50 games.
When you've got quality, like I get that the Premier League is so tactical nowadays, and it is like that. But when you have quality that is better than the teams that you play against, the easiest thing to do is just keep it simple, and you should beat them. Like you're not always. Yeah. That's not the best way to go into games, but like if you do that, I genuinely think you probably have a better record. Like, yeah, there might be no ambition, there might have no future, but at least you'd be better now. I just cannot like. I mean, he says 3 years, but it doesn't say 3 years from now. So I kind of read that. Like,
that's true.
I kind of meant 3 years since he joined, but that's now what 2 years. Oh, great! 2 years. Here we go. But like, I don't know that I 100% do not believe Sir Jim Ratcliffe. He will be gone probably by Christmas. Let's be real. Like I just think he will
got
be.
to.
And also,
unless he has like a remarkable turnaround, but he's essentially muddied this season already. You know, like any chance of them getting European football alone is very difficult now anyway, because of the start they've had. So I just, I must admit, like I do feel sorry for the guy because like a young manager, plays a different brand of football, which is quite refreshing, you know, 3 at the back and things. He's come across and taken over a team that have had just so much turmoil, like season after season after season. I do feel for him. And then he kind of become a meme. You know, the pictures of him sat on the side at Grimsby with a little tactical board that's comedy gold. And there's so many of these managers that we've seen it again and again at Man United. It is the place that managers go to die.
Just in case anyone goes. The players. No one wins. No one wins at United. I say they might win a trophy and the fans will be happy, but it's never enough. Like, the thing is, if Arsenal win the Premier League, like, I know that a lot. There's a big conversation about this actually the other day. A lot of people talking about how like the modern fan is just so they just want to win everything all the time. They're never
Yeah.
satisfied. Like I see people talking about some of the Arsenal fan TV guys, and they're like, you can't even be happy with a win. It's all about this guy's got to be better. This has got to happen. You've got to win. And I get it. I get being critical, but in the moment, at least I'm usually like happy, and then I'll be critical like a week later when I've looked at stuff, but not critical overly where you lose sight of what actually matters. And what actually matters is having consistency, being better every week, and getting good as a team. I obviously, as an Arsenal fan right now, what matters the most is winning trophy this year. That does matter. But if we win the Premier League this year or the Champions League, I will be pretty satisfied. I can't lie, for like 3 years at least. Like I will want more. Doesn't mean I don't want more, but
Oh yeah, obviously.
I won't be sitting there with every single game being like, oh, what's going on? I'll be like, well, we won the league last year. I just still on that high. I've never seen us win the league, so for me that's a big thing. But it just feels like I get with United fans. I get that winning a Carabao Cup isn't enough. Getting to Europa League final isn't enough. I get that. But it just never seems like enough. It always seems like they're never happy, ever. They buy the players that they want, and then 4 games into the season, they hate all of them. And it's like, we need new players. And then you get, it's a cycle. It's like, how can you
there's never any middle ground with them. That's the problem. And granted, we see the biggest voices, like the biggest opinions, I guess. So I think of like when they got in Varane, they got in Casemiro, they got in someone else, I can't remember. And it was a case of like, oh yeah, Ronaldo. It was Ronaldo. Oh yeah, we're gonna win the league. And I can remember distinctly talking to someone like not in my family, but like a family friend, and saying, I will bet you now you will not be winning the league. Like I will tell you now. And I remember Marino coming in and saying, I can tell you now, within 3 years, he will be gone. And then the club will be in a really bad place. And then behold, what happens. Like, but they're always, oh, we're going to win the league now. Like, oh, we've got Mbeumo in, we've got Cunha in, we've got Sesko in, we're going to win the league. No, you're not. Like, you still haven't addressed the biggest issues at your club. And there's so many of them. Like, one is your stadium. Like, have you sorted that? No. Okay, well, we want to do that. A bit of infrastructure probably helps. And when you've got someone like Ronaldo saying, yeah, nothing's changed. Like, the kitchens haven't changed. Like Carrington hasn't changed. There's nothing changed here. Probably you should then address that. Maybe, let's be honest. We've said we're not even United fans, and how many times have we said about their midfield? And again, they're still going, oh, Kobe Mainoo's world class, and he's gonna like, oh my God. Like, I get that he's a player coming through from your academy. So he's the person you will hang your hat on, but he is not going to win you a Premier League. Like, he's not his own. He might be able to be part of a squad or something. Like, Bruno is not like a double pivot player or someone going to play in a 2 in midfield. Like, Casemiro is what, 60. Like, he's got the turning radius of a warship. Like, sort out those problems. But they just go from 0 to 100 every time.
It's just short-term success, isn't it? That's all they think
Yeah, and it'll just happen again and again and again.
And the thing is, like, I get it. It's the board are the main culprits,
Yeah,
and I completely
100%.
understand that. But their fans all think the same. Like not all of them, and I feel bad for the ones that actually think with sense. But a lot of them, it is United fans, short-term success. A lot of United fans as well have become fans because of the dominance. Nearly everyone I knew in my age group was United fans, pretty much, because they won everything when I was growing up. And like, I get that. And then now they've grown up and they don't win anything. And I get people ask me, like, why don't you think? And it's like obvious. Why did they sign Casemiro on 300k a week when he was 30? Casemiro has broadly been fine. He's actually okay. He's one of their better midfielders, fine. But like, the sense makes it doesn't make any sense. De Ligt was actually a good sign and well done. Varane just didn't work. They got rid of him. But it's just a constant, just cutting corners. They cut corners all the time. And I don't know who's to blame. I don't know if Jim Radcliffe is the reason, because this summer the one thing that makes a 5-back system like they are playing work is the midfield. The reason why Crystal Palace went 19 games unbeaten in the Premier League was because any of their midfielders could come in and do a job, even if that's Lerma, Hughes,
Yeah.
Kamada, Wharton. Wharton didn't even play Decore. Wharton didn't even play a lot of games, and they were broadly still fine because the other four knew what they were doing. They were all baby versions of each other, and they worked. They weren't brilliant, but they worked. Man United have Bruno Fernandes playing as a dual pivot 6,
Mhm.
playing hero ball, doing 60-yard passes. They have Ugarte, who is just a stopper. He tackles and wins the ball back, which was exactly what he was at PSG and exactly what he was at Sporting. And when they signed him, I went, this is an awful signing because all he does is tackle, and that's not good enough in the Prem. You have to do something with the ball. And guess what? That's all he does. He has a couple of good games here and there, fair enough, but he's also just dreadful most of the time. And then I look at their other midfielders they've got. They're just nothing. Kobe Madu should be playing. He's the only player in their midfield who actually has some sort of ability to run on the ball and carry it. They have no other carriers really at all. And Kobe Madu is not a perfect player. He's still a very young player, hasn't developed, but he should be played. And they should just live with the fact that they're going to be crap for years and then eventually get better. And I see Man United fans be like, well, that's why we got Šeško in, a younger player. But you bought Højlund in for a younger player. You didn't like him. He's gone in a year and a half. You bought Xerxes in. Xerxes getting loaned out in January, rumours are. So it's like, oh, yeah, but the manager doesn't like them. It's like, well, who bought them then? The manager, Westwood, who's not there anymore, or was it some Jim Radcliffe? Who bought them? Because they've filtered through director of football. It's like 4 different ones. They keep getting them and they get rid of them, keep getting it. Radcliffe isn't happy. Is he just taking over and just doing nothing with it? And it's like, I look at their team and I just go like, on paper, this team actually isn't that bad. I do think it's like a
Yeah, I agree with that.
ninth best team in the UK right now. But it's still not as bad as where they are generally. Like there is still some quality in there. Andre Onana was a 50 mil goalkeeper that they signed and got Inter Milan to the Champions League final and was very, very good in the Serie A and very good in the Eredivisie. He was a bit mistake heavy, but he was still very good. He went to United, his confidence got shot to pieces and he's never been seen again. And now he's in Turkey. I look at Højlund, it's the same. He's in Napoli, the current Serie A champion, scoring every week for them. And he's loving it. And it's like, I just go like, surely there is some recollection. I get that some of these players are crap. Like Anthony, they spent 100 million on. Anthony was never good. He was getting 9 goal contributions a season at Ajax and doing a couple of ball rolls, and everyone was loving it. He was never their best player. Gakpo was like 4 times the player as him in that league, and I can't believe United didn't get Gakpo, and I couldn't believe it. But that was Ten Hag, so that's Ten Hag's fault. Like they get managers in that have this distinct idolation of their team, and that's actually just exactly not what they need. They need a manager that's going to come in and just play a system that the players work with. Glasner never played for a back 5 ever in his entire career until last season at Palace because he had to, because players left, Elise left, some other things happened, and he had to kind of work it out. So he played that system, and it didn't work. For the first 3-4 months of last year, they were bad, Palace, and Eze was awful for like half of last season. No one even remembers he was crap. But then he got better, and they learned it. And like they just need a manager like Glasner to come in and be like, let's just play what this team suits. If this team suits 2 DMs and attacking midfield, if this team suits 4 midfield and 4-4-2, then just play a 4-4-2.
Well, we've seen that ourselves with Arteta. When Arteta first came in, the first thing he went is, right, what have I actually got at my disposal? I've got an Aubameyang. Okay, that's probably my get-out clause. He's not the perfect striker and stuff, but we can play on the counter and he'll probably get a goal or 2. Lo and behold, we go and get a trophy. And ironically, it's his only major trophy, but unless you count the English Super Cups we've won. But and I'm going to keep calling it that. But it just, like Rangnick, you get Rangnick in, and the idea was that he's there on kind of an interim appointment, and then he'll go behind the scenes and start running the club. And like long term, he'll have a vision. We'll start buying certain types of players, and it doesn't matter what manager we get in because we've got the right types of players for these systems, and then we just get in managers that are going to kind of fit that. And then they just go, no, we'll just get rid of him as well.
Yeah.
And the whole time, I felt for the guy because the whole time he'd been saying home truths. Like, I tried to get this player and they said no. I tried to get this player. They said no. I think, like, Haaland was on the list, like Szoboszlai was on the list. There are multiple players that they have been saying, these guys are pretty good. Like, get them now. I just, it baffles me.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's so
like
bad.
sooner or later, they have got to have like a full overhaul of everything and try and sort it. And the most frustrating thing for me personally is that I remember Gary Neville having the audacity to say Arsenal's transfers, they've got no idea. There's no kind of long-term vision. When we were getting in Ben White, Tomiyasu, Ramsdale, like all these players, it's like, well, we obviously do have a long-term vision. It's about buying players for good value now that are going to grow into better players and start suiting our team. And then from that was the kind of the foundation level. And then you start building up and up and up. And then you can buy your Gyökeres, your Eze, these kind of players. United have always done it backwards.
It's like what Roy Keane said, the same, didn't he? Yeah, I mean, and he didn't even want to be there. Alexis Sanchez hated it after day one. Like, there's things that club do. And the thing is, we talk about Szoboszlai. If Szoboszlai went to United, I think he'd be crap. Like,
he would be. Which is so funny.
That's the thing. And it's not because of him as a player, but every single player. Like, playing for United and managing United is harder than anything in the world. You get more scrutiny than any other club. Like, you just will. They are like the biggest commercial club, especially Western.
Oh, hang on. Quick question. Do you reckon it's harder to be the England manager or the United manager?
Probably the United manager, genuinely. I feel like at least with the England manager, you don't manage as much, so it's like at least you get time off. With the United manager, it's like every week.
To be fair, what we've got at our disposal now in terms of like English players, we've got amazing talent now in this country. And for years, it was really difficult. But yeah.
Like, I look at United and I look at the stuff that they do, and I'm like, oh my God, how can anyone support this? Like, I feel bad when players go there sometimes because I'm like, you're going there for the paycheck, but I just don't think you're going to develop. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why players just become stagnant there. Bruno Fernandes, like, that's why I hold him to quite a high regard, because genuinely he's gone there. He's actually been quite good. Out of all the signings they've made, they spent 50 million on him at 27, and he's been a very, very good player. A lot of the players that they signed, just absolutely nothing. Alexis Sanchez, I know broadly people would say Sanchez was like, he was tired, he'd played a lot in his career. I remember that was the whole thing, even though he's still playing now for Seville in the La Liga. But like, it's just like there's so many players that go there, and it just doesn't work. And I do think it is hard to get from a club that has been run by the same person for 20 years. And you have to do what we did with Arteta and slowly build up your way to the top. And they just don't. They want to cut corners, they want to do all this. But you've just got to stick to a plan. I say this about Chelsea and Maresca all the time. I keep hearing rumours about, Maresca might get sacked. I see Chelsea fans going, this game he let us down. He definitely still makes mistakes. He's a very, very new manager. He's like 3 years into his career. But just stick with him. I can see the vision.
That
with
one,
Maresca.
I can go, stick with him.
Like, you can see the vision, you can see the patience. They will buy enough players eventually that will be okay, even though I don't like a lot of their signings. And it still must be hard as a manager to be that way and have all these players always rotating in and out. Like, Madueke was our best winger last year, but now we don't want him because this Brazilian guy's coming in. He's gone. So, okay. But, like, broadly, like Maresca, I look at his system. I also look at how he is as a person. I'm like, he's trying to learn a lot, and I think that's great. I do feel bad for Amarin. I didn't feel bad for Eric Ten Hag because he's a dickhead, but like, Amarin is a bit of a dickhead, but he's not as bad.
Reece's language.
And it's just like, I don't know, like, I feel bad, like, in a sense. Like, I feel bad for some people that have hope every season for United. Like, they are the fans that you speak to the most at the start of the year that, like, not even it's going to be their year, but they just hope to get, like, top 6. And they just are, like, they might get top 6, but, like, at the moment, it's just dire. And, like, it's going to be the same for 15, 20 years' time. And this is why people on podcasts criticize United over and over and over again, because they just haven't improved since Fergie left. And it's never going to change.
I mean, I think the mixed messaging as well, like from like Ratcliffe, the fact that at one point he's saying, we've got to get rid of all of these employees. And then it's like, no, now we're going to build a new stadium that's going to be, billions. And I just think that's not a good look either. But what would be a good look is if Arsenal built a stadium like this. We are rumoured to be looking into an expansion of the Emirates Stadium. Now, this was mooted probably about a year ago. I remember it coming up as well. So this has been kind of ongoing. Reports are really interesting because there's a lot of different reports about what might be going on and what capacity they could be looking at. So this picture is from Sports Render. I do want to put that out. That's not one of my Photoshops. I love this idea. Like, I think if we did an expansion, I don't know about you, I do want a bit of an overhaul on the appearance of the Emirates. I love the pictures. I like the names with everyone that's kind of got them engraved and them up there. I just think you look at like the Allianz Arena, the Bernabeu. There's quite like there's iconic stadiums around the world. Like the Singapore stadiums are amazing. Even the one that LA Rams, ironically, you know, our owners did, is an incredible arena.
SoFi.
Yeah. Like if we could kind of incorporate something else in, like they've kind of done here, like I like that idea. No, not completely overhauling it, but I think something needs to happen. It is looking quite drab at the Emirates. Like a lot of the seats need, you know, attention. But something like that, like new screens and things would be amazing. Do you think, right? So Sky Sports are saying, well, Sky Sports are reporting about the Telegraph, which is a bit confusing. So it was reported on Tuesday that the club are making detailed plans that would include increasing the capacity to 70,000 for a potential stay at Wembley while the work is carried out. So I've got a couple of questions for you, mate. The first one is 70,000 enough? If we're to move across to Wembley and we're getting this expansion, is 70,000 actually enough?
The problem is, I feel like if you get more than 70k, then it's going to take even longer. And also, I just don't think we're going to get planning permission, considering where we are and where the Emirates is and where they're going to build it. So it kind of like, I would want more, like I would want nearer to 80k, but I just don't know. I just don't think it's very possible. I don't even think this is possible, to be honest. I don't think this is going to happen.
Oh, really?
I just think like I read into some of it. But it's just like it's going to be too complicated, I think, given where they've got to knock down buildings and move stuff. Like, I don't know where the Emirates is built. It's kind of built in the area it's built in because of all the stuff around it. And I feel like we kind of got a bit like messed up from the Emirates because they built it in 2005 to be this like big new revolutionary modern thing, and then by like 2010 everything in 2005 was like ancient. Like everything had changed so much. Like in that time frame. So I just think like even by like 2012, it kind of got outdated. You even look at it now, you look at it and it gives like old football stadium vibes, just how it is. And I look at like newer stadiums, like the London Stadium or Tottenham Stadium, you could kind of see it way more modern. I know Tottenham's very, very recent, so it's kind of hard to judge, but like even like the London Stadium's a little bit more like, that was like 2010, 2011, and that seems way more modern. So I do think that it does need to be fixed. Even if they just refurbished it and made it a little bit nicer, like you said, like with the chairs and stuff, that would be like still needed to an extent. Like still got to do that. Obviously, they're going to do it because of revenue. They want 10 extra thousand seats, which won't make the prices of the game any cheaper, I don't think, but will get an extra 10,000 seats a week, whatever, how much money that works out to be, which will be a lot. Like I'm not against it. Like it needs to happen. I do think the Emirates is kind of dire sometimes. Like you look at it compared to some of the other stadiums. We spoke about Old Trafford. Old Trafford is just a mess and there's leakages everywhere. But Old Trafford at least like looks nice. Like it looks nice when you go to Old Trafford a little bit.
It looks intimidating. I used to go there every year, and I used to think it is quite an aggressive stadium, if that makes sense. Like just from the actual appearance of the stadium, maybe not inside it, but it does. Like the Camp Nou is like that. It's got like something about it, whereas the Emirates just looks quite friendly, but at the same time, it doesn't look really nice. But do you know what I mean? It's not like an attractive stadium. Like I know, obviously, on the boardroom level, Otto Marley's come in, so he's been part of the SoFi Stadium with the LA Rams. I do wonder if that's part of the reasoning that he's come in, because there's been a lot of talk about our revenue and changes there. Now, what I've been told, so little exclusive here, I could be completely wrong. I've been told this. So I received a message from someone I know who's in the building trade that work with the Emirates. So they said, although the rumors are that we might kind of dig down, or we might bring the lowest tier kind of towards the pitch, they said that the stadium was designed so that we could raise it with hydraulics, kind of like they've done with parts of Venice and things like that. And we've, they do high-rise buildings, or if you've got like foundational problems, you kind of raise up a building, build underneath it. So apparently, the new concrete seating blocks could go underneath, and then the capacity could go up to 80 or up to maximum of 90,000. They wouldn't need to dig down. They wouldn't even need to take the roof off to do that. But other rumors I've seen are saying that they're kind of looking at putting a new roof, like a retractable roof and things, which would be brilliant. Like, I think that's great. Like, have you ever been to like a live game where the roof closed?
No, I don't think so, actually.
Like, it's genuinely one of my favorite things in sport. Like, whether it's rugby, football, like when it is enclosed, the sound is just amplified. It's unbelievable. It just changes the acoustics. So, I mean, maybe that's happening. Like, I mean, I think he's relatively reliable with certain things, but that would be really interesting if it's something that long term that they went, actually, we could expand, we just can't do it. The problem with the Emirates was that we had to do it all funded properly. So like Arsene Wenger, people forget or people don't know that he had to sign a contract saying he wouldn't leave and the banks wouldn't give us any kind of loans, any funding if he left the club. And he more or less like sacrificed himself and his, the end of his tenure to stay at the club and see that stadium through. Like, he could have left to Real Madrid and just like, nah, I'm going to see it through. This is going to be my legacy doing this. And the owners were like, they're not going to shell out their own money and do it any other way, which, and we definitely weren't going to get a free stadium like City did. So it's quite commendable, but I think it did hamstring us. I do wonder if there is an element of truth there that they looked and went, actually, we can't do it now, but another 20 years down the line, maybe we can do an extension. So be interesting. It will be interesting. I'm excited about it. I would love the Emirates to do that. But my personal opinion is that we don't go into Wembley. We go down the road. There's a nice block of flats down the road. And it looks like it's in a place called Highbury. And I reckon it'd be a bit small, but you could probably put like some seating in there and play on the pitch there.
I take Wembley is nah. I don't want to go there every week. Like, it's just
that's my problem. I just think when we went to Wembley,
but the other
before,
reports are like, well, we might just have to play home games away. I don't know how that's gonna work, but like,
no, just flat no.
Because we don't know. Like, Wembley might just be like, nah, sorry, we're busy. We've got Sabrina Carpenter touring. Sorry,
this is the Cronkies way of like setting up the Super League.
Maybe we'll just find some other.
They just start going, we play home games away. We're playing a home game in Dubai. Oh no, this one's in LA.
Yeah,
this one's in New York. This one's in Paris.
That whole thing, isn't it? Like with the UEFA, like we're reluctantly agreeing to this, and it's like, are you agreeing or not? Well, you're in control. It's like, well, we actually kind of have to. It's like, oh my god, it's just like these govern. This is what I mean. These governing bodies about these in football. Things that they could have stopped and put laws into place to stop, they don't care about. But we have a stupid like rule book which changes every week. They're paying off people to go and give votes in to like put their self forward to be a World Cup nominee, and they're getting like, all the stuff that's happened before with all the dodgy stuff, and then they're having these countries that are committing horrible things be in charge and allowing them to do what they need to, and then keeping them as well, by the way, just in UEFA and FIFA to like play against other teams, despite a lot of teams in Europe can't play each other because of wars that have happened. So like a lot of the Balkan countries can't play one another, so they're completely allowed to go into and make an opinion and decision about that because they know how bad it's going to be, but not other things like I don't know. It's to me, it's just a shell. It's just I hate it. I hope FIFA suffer. I really do. And the 2026 World Cup is supposedly going to be in January, not 2026, whenever, like 30. It's not next one, not next one after
the
one
one
after.
after.
Yeah, that's incredible. The December one was already. I sat and watched the World Cup final in 2022 at uni by myself. All my friends had gone home, and I just sat there in my room, watched it.
Sorry, you shouldn't laugh.
It was awful.
That's so depressing.
An awful time, and I will never get that back. And also, Arsenal were great, and then Jesus got injured in that, and then we were awful when we came back, and I would never. That ruined everything. And since that, I'm not happy. So I'm not doing that again. I'll put my foot down.
I hate. Like, it should be in the summer. Give me a World Cup in the summer.
Even if it's like 1 a.m. kickoffs, which it is going to have to be in America. But like, I mean, it's because the timings are all. For me, that's fine. But like,
one stipulation in America, okay, 1 a.m. like that is what it is. Time zones are, we can't change time zones. Can't really, like when they have fighters, boxers, and UFC fighters and things fighting at crazy hours in the morning for other places in the world. Don't think you can really do that. However, one thing we could bring back is the MLS way of doing penalties, and the dribble in up to the keeper. Let's bring that back. Like, I'm fine with that. You just go, we're getting retro. It's America. Let's do it.
I have no idea why the MLS did that. Like, what did that? I think they just thought like football was like some retro game.
Well, is it in hockey that you do that? Ice hockey?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you do.
That's how they do it in hockey. Yeah.
To be fair, I genuinely mean this as well. I'm not saying bring it in for everything, but in terms of like a penalty during a game, I think it should be a penalty. But penalty shootout, it kind of does make sense because it's more on everyone's ability rather than the luck of the draw and the pressure at that one kick. That kind of makes sense.
Don't you think at least it adds more pressure having one kick? Just like, I feel like like no one kicking it and like you sitting there waiting would be more scary than running. But it would be funny to be like a player that's just ran 120 minutes. He's like dead out on his feet. It's like, go on, mate, you go 1-on-1.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like this.
Do you think you get more substitutions for like penalty takers? Do you have like your Eze's? Like Eze would be perfect, wouldn't he? Like he's going to take it past the keeper.
I love when like people do subs for pens. Like I would never do a sub for. I say this is absolutely cap. If I'm playing Football Manager, I'm bringing everyone off who's awful at pens with 1 minute to go. I know they say don't do that. I don't care. Yeah. But like with like a goalie, like when Tim Krul came on, who I've actually met a couple of times. But when Tim Krul came on and saved the pen for Netherlands against Costa Rica, that was sick. And then I was like, that is a sick decision by Van Gaal to just be like, you're the better goalie at saving pens. Let's do that. I was like, that actually makes it worthwhile of bringing another keeper, because there is genuinely no point in bringing 3 keepers to every tournament. They even bring 4 sometimes, some countries. They should just bring 2, and then the second one should be allowed to come on for penalties like freely, I think. Like if they want to make that decision, I think that would be more fun. That's
was it? You won't remember this. You're too young. I think it was Dunga, the Brazil captain, who, let's say, he dislocated his shoulder because in their training before the first match of the World Cup, he decided to go in goal, and then dislocated his shoulder, missed the whole tournament, and they won the World Cup. Like he was their captain at the time. That is a good reason for bringing some extra goalkeepers just for training.
In the 2010 one, I remember. Oh yeah, that was funny, wasn't it? Rob Green made the mistake against USA, and then we dropped him for David James.
Yeah,
get the other keeper in; he'll do better.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Yeah, Calamity James, he's the perfect person to bring in. He'll never have it.
David James as the keeper options is hilarious. David James was so bad, I can't lie.
I mean, he had moments.
I'd rather have just played Rob Green, even though he made one mistake.
Yeah.
One mistake, the poor guy.
Mate, episode 27. Another one in the bag. We're almost at 30. If you've been tuning in tonight, thank you so much. I know we've had consistently quite a few people in the chat. We're going to try and get Riverside on the phone, try and sort out this chat, make sure that we can bring it up live, because it's been, what, like 3 sessions now where this has happened. So a bit frustrating. If you haven't done so, though, please make sure you like the video. It helps with the algorithm. Make sure you subscribe to Forward on Football. Just hit that bell icon down below. It is free. It doesn't cost you anything. And it really, really does help the channel. And if anyone wants to find you, Reece, where can they find you?
Wackles, YT. That's it now. We'll get to the others one day. Well,
Yeah,
but not
eventually.
yet.
We will be back next week, and we're going to have some guests coming on soon as well. I need to tell you about this, Reece, straight after, but we've got some guests that are going to be coming on. We've got a fun episode coming up in 2 weeks' time. But next week, we will be hopefully talking more Arsenal, because we'll almost be back ready for Fulham. Take care, everyone, and make sure that you do hit that bell. Go follow Reece. I mean, he's not saying about all of his channels, but he has got quite a few of them. Make sure you do that. Cheers now, everyone.